This is a symbol of the presidency, and very soon will come to be known as a symbol of the junior presidency. Our search for 12 young, brilliant minds who we want to be crowning as junior presidents continues. Today we audition some of them as we look for the 12, nothing but the 12, to make sure that they enjoy all this that comes with the presidency. In just a few minutes our audition commences. The question is, will we find our presidents? Junior President continues just after this.
Get a life, get a gig with Zamtel's new permanent bundle. You heard right, your internet dreams have come true. For only 49 kwacha, you get 7 days of 1 gigabyte data. Internet heaven is now permanent and is here to stay 4G. 49 kwacha for 1 gigabyte all week to download, upload, connect, update, share, stream, broadcast, and just, well, internet. All day, every day for 7 days. So what are you waiting for? Get a life, get a gig today. Zamtel. Live life today.
Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm a doctor now.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much,
You are
sir.
most welcome.
I'm now a managing director for the bank.
Great.
You are my hero.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are most welcome.
I'm a journalist now.
Good career.
It's a dream come true.
Thank you. Be a people's hero, icon, treasured and appreciated by pursuing a career in teaching education at DMI St. Eugene University today.
Visit www.dmiseu.edu.zm. DMI St. Eugene University, where your dreams are nurtured.
Madam President, welcome.
Thank you
You're
very
among
much.
the last to speak. How do you feel about this audition?
I'm really nervous, but I think I'm confident enough to go through.
So how are you combining the nervousness and the confidence? Which one's going to come out in the audition?
The confidence.
The confidence will come out.
Yeah.
All the best then.
Thank
The
you.
judges are waiting for you down there. That's another lady vying for the presidency. Let's see how this audition turns out for her.
Good afternoon, sorry.
Good afternoon, madam. We don't want you to be nervous here. Huh? Madam Violet Mbuzi,
Yes.
you're welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much.
We want you to come, we want you to be open-minded, and we want you to enjoy yourself. So, you are in the race for the presidency of the Republic of Zambia,
Yes.
and you're one among the few women who have staked themselves up for this big challenge. How does it make you feel to be part of this interesting race?
Okay, it makes me feel good because not a lot of people have got the opportunity that I have. Not many people before had an opportunity that I have right now to be able to stand among other youths to stand as junior president.
Are you ready for the challenge?
Yes, I am.
My first question to you will be that if you become the first female president of this country, many women of this nation will be expectant and they will be looking forward to you to change their lives in many ways. I'm talking about the women in the rural areas,
Yes.
those that are impoverished. What will be your agenda in order to deal with this empowerment of your fellow women?
I would, first and foremost, in order for me to empower other women who will be looking up to me, even as I will be first female president, I would empower women in a lot of things. Like, for example, I would empower them in forms of skills. I would create certain vocational schools that will be able to empower women, like teaching them on things that, because most women have got a mentality of thinking only men can do this and women cannot do this. I would make sure I talk to them, I convince them and tell them that what a man can do, even a woman can do. I would also educate them on the non-importance of gender-based violence, because most women keep silent Like if they're beaten by their husbands, they'll think maybe if I go to the police station because I'm a woman, I was beaten by my husband, maybe they won't hear out my cry because I'm a woman and my cry won't be heard. I would encourage them to speak out because I, as a female, also feel their pain. If they're being beaten by their husbands and they just keep silent, that means that they're not preaching the words to other women in order to encourage them to speak out.
Thank you very much. On that score, many women fail to report their husbands when it comes to GBV for fear of losing a breadwinner. What are you going to do to ensure that these women who are abused and they end up with their husbands who are the abusers, locked up in prisons? What do you do to these women so that their lives are not destabilized?
I would help them, like in terms of empowering them. Like, as I said, I can create vocational schools that will help them acquire skills so that if their husbands are to be put in jail for beating them up, at least the skills that they're going to acquire from the vocational schools are going to help them if their husbands are still in jail. Like, for example, I would put up vocational schools, like maybe to teach them maybe tailoring, catering, or maybe designing and other things, so that even if they don't have that kind of education that they need to acquire for them to go to the university and later on get a high-paying job, at least through those schools that I'm going to provide for them, like I'm going to maybe build up for them, they're going to learn a lot of skills which will help them to feed themselves and the children at home unless the husband is in prison.
Madam President, in your estimation, as you take up the high office of President, what is the overriding challenge that you see that faces Zambia, and how would you redress that?
I think the overriding challenge is poverty. And sorry, the question again?
Yes, what's the main challenge that you see that Zambia faces today, and how would you as government redress that? How do you address that challenge?
Okay, I think the main challenge is poverty, and what I would do if I was to be put in office as president, I would make sure I lessen the poverty levels. I would lessen the poverty levels in terms of tightening ties with investors from other countries who are coming into the country to bring goodwill.
Following on that, enticing investors to bring goodwill and to help the poverty alleviation. Considering that is the perception that is out there, that there is a lot of aligning to foreign investment than to locals. But you were talking about alleviating poverty from the people that haven't got that kind of education. In your own way, how are you going to make sure that you use the investors to put the citizens into the value chain? What policies are you going to make in order that you put the Zambians in the value chain, even if they're less experienced than the investors?
For the less educated Zambians, so I would say, if those investors come into the country, I would ask for the investors to make sure that whatsoever investments are bringing into the country, they create employment for the underprivileged or the uneducated people of Zambia, in order for them also to gain something through their investments.
What if the investment just needs the people that are the technical people that are going to be employed? They're the only ones who can be employed in that kind of sector. They would demand that this kind of job, only this kind of education can go into the jobs. What measures are you going to make sure that they're actually in the value chain? Because there's so many things that are happening between production and putting the goods on the market or putting the services on the market. Because there should be something that a local can do. So what policies are you going to put in place to make sure that the Zambian is in the value chain?
Okay, I would do much as possible in my power as president to make sure that even when the investors are coming in the country, I discuss with them and make sure that whatsoever investments they're trying to bring in the country should involve both the uneducated and the educated people in order for us to have employment for both classes of people.
Madam President, we are running out of time. One Zambia?
One nation.
What do you understand about that?
One Zambia, one nation. I think it's talking about peace, coming together, uniting together.
Okay.
Yes.
Christian nation?
Basically, it talks about a nation which is well built on Christianity.
What's your final word to the electorate out there?
Pardon?
Who you want? What's your final message to those people who are going to vote for you? Under 1 second.
I want them to vote for me because I think and I feel I've got the confidence and I can do it. I can be the first Zambian female president.
Madam President, we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so our presidential candidate is walking out. One Zambia?
One nation.
Ah, okay. So what do you know? How do you feel about the audition?
I think the audition was fine. Yeah, I was confident.
But?
There was nothing bad about it.
There's nothing bad about it. No buts.
No.
Just going straight.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so there goes our presidential candidate. Up next is Natasha Mwansa. Welcome to the Junior President auditions.
Thank you very much.
You're an exceptional young lady. You're 13 years old.
Yes.
And you're doing a grade 11. How many grades did you skip?
None.
You didn't skip. So at what age did you start your school?
I think 2.
Do you feel age is really going to disadvantage you in the competition?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, all the best. The judges are waiting for you.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. So there goes Natasha Mwansa, our youngest presidential candidate, 13, doing grade 11. This is how it goes.
Madam Natasha Mwansa, you're welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
We want you to feel comfortable. We want you to relax. We want you to be open-minded.
Okay.
Madam Mwansa, you're one among the women in the contest for presidency.
Yes.
And consequently, you're looking forward to becoming the first ever female president of the Republic of Zambia. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really excited, and it makes me feel like now I have to really show the country that I can represent the ladies out there, that I can stand as young as I am to say women are a big part of Zambia. So yeah, I'm confident I'll get it.
Brilliant.
Yes.
In the political leadership, there are so many positions which people vie for elections, starting from ward councillor, member of parliament, and indeed the presidency. What made you just pick on the presidency without forgetting about the rest of the positions?
Presidency, it symbolizes leadership, it symbolizes determination, it symbolizes courage, it symbolizes me. So yeah, it's just me, it's just an aspiration. I know I can make it, and I know that Zambia lacks the leaders that it actually desires, and I will be that leader that it has desired for over 50 years now.
Thank you very much. Now, to run the nation, you need resources. And one of the areas where we draw resources from in order to improve the economy of the country is from the investors that come to invest in this country. And the investors look for certain opportunities. And the environment is one of the key aspects they look at before they can come and invest in this country. What would be the message to the investors in terms of the environment you have, the security of the nation, when you're attracting investors to come in your country?
Is it okay if you rephrase that question?
Yes, I can rephrase it for you, Madam President.
Mm-hmm.
This country depends on resources from its natural resources. In short, to run a government, you need money, you need resources.
Okay.
And one of the areas that government gets its money from through taxes is from the investors. But for the investors to come in the country, they need a very good environment. They need peace, they need security. So what are you going to do to ensure that this environment is created for you to attract more investors?
First, we'll look at the violence aspect that's going on in the country. Okay, yes, there is violence, but I'll try my best to stop that violence. I mean, you can't go around telling everyone one by one that investors are coming, they must stop the violence for a while. But there must be a permanent solution to stop that violence so that they can be a security, they can be a secured nation. So I would first try and stop the violence. And secondly, I would make sure that our environment is clean. I mean, Zambia is a very peaceful nation as to me. It's just that sometimes the differences that we have, the arguments that we have, and all these things whereby people fail to appreciate, they fail to tolerate, let me say, the ideas and ideals of other people. They fail to tolerate their opinions, and people have that pride, for lack of better terms. They have that pride to think they are always right. But I'll try to put a tolerance of everyone's views so that there can be peace, and that to at least make the investors, knowing that they have a different culture from ours, it will make them safe that we would appreciate and acknowledge their culture per se, rather than us trying to fight them and saying no, this is wrong, and changing them. So I've talked about the violence, I've talked about tolerance, and then Zambia is a friendly nation. So yeah, the people are very friendly. We are a very peaceful nation. So I'll do my best just to promote these things, to fight the violence, to promote tolerance, and to show our friendship with other countries.
That's good. And as you lead, you need to empower the youth, and you also need to make sure that the youth have got certain values that you can promote, so that people have got the confidence in the youth, because right now the country has got no confidence in the youth. And also it is also in relation to the gender issues, because gender is your agenda. How are you going to make sure that the gender is balanced, and also how it brings out the issues that affect the youth, the women, and the men differently?
Okay, we've talked about the gender. The gender issue is a really debatable topic now, because you find women are not really being supported. But now with Inonge Winner, I think women will be empowered, but it still has a problem there. So you find that how a child grows up in a home, his or her father is treating the mother, or mother treating the father, will affect the child and how that child will think and grow. You know, one thing about us, about the parents that we have now, they really have a problem of understanding that you can't build the younger generation for the future. You can't build the future, for the younger generation, but you can try and build the younger generation for the future, but you can't force it upon them. So I would really like to see it. The gender issue in homes. Charity begins at home. Everything begins at home. Wherever you come from will determine where you're going. So it would really start with homes. So it would really be good just to have a few meetings in society, in the communities. You have a few meetings. You talk to the husbands on how they should treat their wives, and the wives how they should treat their husbands. The parents how they should treat the younger ones, their children, and the children as well how they should treat their parents and how they should learn from it. So that's one way of the gender issue. I would fight that through that by just talking to them, because Zambia lacks so many things. It lacks rehabilitation centers. It lacks all those places where people can be reformed. And you find that the only place people can really go and come back change is prison, and that shouldn't be the case. So I would build a lot of rehabilitation centers. I would build reformation centers so that people can go there and have a different mindset. And when they get home, they'll teach their children, and their children will follow from what they're doing, from their steps on the gender issue. And then how to empower the youths. The youths are what's really causing this. It's what's really causing the junior president, because we would have had a senior president and would have had adults and all those things, but we've decided to say junior. So which means we are trying to promote the voices of the youth. So this is one of the ways that I would encourage more of these programs so that we can hear the voice of the younger generation. That's one way of empowering them. And also just sitting down with them, listening to their ideas, listening to their political aspects, listening to all those things, all the dreams and aspirations also really help because of their imagination. At their age, they've got a really wild imagination, and we all know that our imagination is all that's needed for anything to develop. Without imagination, we wouldn't have had a country like Zambia. So it's really important for us to do that, and sitting down with them, interacting with them, getting to know them better would be really a great idea.
What is the Zambia you want?
A Zambia where children's rights and aspects and dreams are heard and recognized and prioritized.
Madam President, in your opening statement, you said that you are that leader that Zambia has missed for the past 50 years. What qualities do you bring into State House? What unique qualities do you see yourself bringing into State House in terms of leadership?
I really don't think Zambia is all about State House. And secondly, my values would be the voices, especially the voices of the youth. Not that the older generation doesn't have a part to play, it will have a part to play. But right now we're hearing too much of it, too much of the older generation, and we would like to experience new things. This is a new world. So firstly, my aspiration is to actually promote the voices of the children, of the younger generation, one. My other aspiration is a place where we promote the really small sectors. Okay, yeah, it's quite alright that education is being looked at and concentrated on. It's okay that health is being looked at and concentrated on. But there are also small sectors that we're not really trying to fight against. Corruption for one of them. So it's really going to be difficult to see where Zambia will be headed in the next 3 years without corruption being fought. So also corruption is a major part. Then next, I would build the economy. Zambia has got a problem of depending too much on other countries, on other nations. That's really bad, because I liked how Manawasa acted, whereby there was like a food problem in Zambia, and he refused to accept the maize from another country and said Zambia will solve its own problems. That's having confidence in your people, not whereby we are always lending money from other countries. If we're always lending, how do you expect us to pay it back? How will we do that? In the end, we'll end up being enslaved, that type of thing. So I would build the economy in our own way, using our own culture, our own resources. If it means employing other people, just come and teach us how to make these resources, how to make use of them, it would be just fine. But using ourselves, it's our Zambia, not America's Zambia or whatever Zambia. It's our Zambia. So yes, I would build the economy using us. Yes.
On the lighter note, Zambia has been used to be having presidents who are male and they go with first ladies. And we are going to have the first female president with the first gentleman. What sort of first gentleman are we going to expect? A public figure like the way we have first ladies?
A public figure?
The first ladies, we see them like Dr. Kaseba was, now the first gentleman.
First gentleman. He would be my right hand man, and yes, he would be my advisor. Sometimes he would advise me, but I would find it a bit. I would think Zambians wouldn't really like it if I gave him a position in my government just because he's my husband. No, I would rather he's just there to advise me and help me through it. Because yes, so that would really be his role.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Madam President, one Zambia,
one nation.
What's your take of that?
It's an ideal statement. I don't think it's all that realistic these days, Because if I could remember, there was a time my mom would tell me a long time ago, if you lacked something in the house, you go to your neighbors and they would help you out. If you lacked a few things, people could help you out. But now I'm not really seeing this much help, this much cooperation nowadays in Zambia. Zambia is lacking love and patriotism.
So what do you do to address that as a president of the country?
I would advise, because I can't force people to love their culture, but I would advise investors, I would advise even the local marketeers and all these local people not to bring in another person's culture, you know, all these new clothing, all these new songs, all these new so-called swag and stuff. No, I would bring in the Zambian culture. I like your shirt, that's really Zambian. So I would bring in Zambian fashion, I would bring in Zambia, I would make it more entertaining and more interesting in one way or another. So that's what I would do.
Under One Zambia, One Nation.
One Zambia, One Nation.
Madam President, we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Go well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so coming out of the audition room is the young president. Natasha, please, feel free. Are you impressed with your performance?
Very impressed.
What impresses you about your performance?
My courage and confidence, and I know what I was doing, so...
You mentioned one interesting thing, and my camera person asked me to ask you this question. You mentioned Mwanawasa. The time that President Mwanawasa died was 2008. You were 7 years old at that time. So how did you get to know all these things?
I was really following him up. There were two presidents in my whole life I've always wanted to meet, either Mwanawasa or Sata. If I couldn't meet these two, then it was it. So it really saddened me when they died, because I really wanted to meet them. I really loved them and I followed what they did. So I think that's what gives me my good leadership aspect.
One of the best. Maybe you meet President Lungu. Okay, so there goes Natasha Mwansa, brilliant presidential candidate. More brilliant ones to come. We've got only 2 to go. Okay, the second from the last is here. Welcome, Muiza.
Thank you, Suwilanji.
Looking forward to the audition.
Thank you.
Are you looking forward to the audition?
Yes, I am.
Are you nervous? Because you told me you're nervous.
Yes, I was, but I think now I'm getting my calm.
Now you're getting your calm.
Yes.
Let's get to find out what the judges have to say. All the
Thank
best. Okay, so there goes Muiza, yet another lady vying for the presidency. Let's find out how the judges will conduct this one.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are
Muiza Zulu.
Muiza Zulu.
Yes.
Madam Muiza Zulu, you are most welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
We want you to feel comfortable, relaxed, and just have a fresh sense of hair around here.
Thank you.
We are happy to host you.
Thank you very much.
And we are happy in the sense that you are one among the few female contestants in this very important race. How does it make you feel to be one out of the so many thousands of girls and ladies in this country in the race?
I think it's a very good opportunity for me. It makes me feel proud because such platforms give me the opportunity to represent the views of the many other young people out there. So it's a very big opportunity for me.
Good. So you are among the few ladies and there are gentlemen there vying for the same top slot, the job.
Yes.
And the key deciders are the people out there.
Yes.
What makes you think the people out there should vote for you as opposed to any of those contestants you have left behind?
I think that I have certain leadership qualities, which definitely if I go through, they're going to see. And I've been in some leadership positions. In school, I'm also a child ambassador with the Media Institute of Southern Africa. So I've had a bit of an experience with leadership, and I think I can do it for here.
Brilliant. In the political democracy and elective offices, there are so many positions, starting from the ward councillor, member of parliament, and the presidency.
Yes.
Why are you picking on the biggest one?
I think because there are certain powers that the president has to make certain decisions that I think given the opportunity, I would make very good decisions to being the president.
Tell us, there are so many sectors that drive the country. the economy of the country. Yes. Which would be your number one priority out of all the sectors?
I think my number one priority would be the agricultural sector, because we have mostly right now Zambia is dependent on maize, but it would be nice to diversify the agriculture of the country so that we make as much as we can from the different crops out there.
Madam President, the Zambia you want is definitely a Zambia that is going to have equality in terms of gender.
Yes.
How are you going to make sure that there is gender equality? And what do you understand? Because gender is your agenda.
Yes. I think that first of all, I should say that sometimes we should not just do things, let's say appoint women, because most of the time women are the underprivileged ones. But I think everything should be done on merit, not just because someone is a woman, they should be appointed. I think I'll do everything on merit, but of course making sure it's balanced. So whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, if you qualify for the job, then you can be there.
What about the youth? Because the youth are part of gender.
Yes, I think for the youth, I think also it's up to them themselves, because sometimes it's not only the government that's going to create jobs for you. Sometimes you need to use your own skills, entrepreneurship skills. If you know how to make jewelry and stuff like that, you can use those skills. So sometimes it's not just the government that will make jobs for you, because there's no space for everyone to be a lawyer or a politician or a president. So sometimes I think the youth should be able to use their own skills to move the country forward.
Madam President, there is a lot of competition globally for resources, for investment, and I think Zambia is not an exception. We need resources to help us to grow the economy. What makes Zambia different when you are president? How are you going to market Zambia as a different destination? What are the attributes that Zambia you would point to when you are calling for investors to come?
I think, first of all, Zambia is a country with many resources that investors would be very interested to come in here. So I think the resources that we have would be my main marketing point for the country. And also I think we're a country with very friendly people and a very suitable environment for the investment.
How about, because, Zambia is said to be one of the most sought out, but it's not well known out there. Mm-hmm. And we know that tourism, you don't need to do much because all the resources are there. Yeah. So what steps can you use, or what policies can you use to make sure that we have got the investors that are investing in the tourism sector, because there you don't even have to explain much because it is there. Yes. We've got these natural resources. Maybe if you are able to mention some of the areas where you can direct investment in terms of tourism.
I think, first of all, it would be, I would appoint ambassadors to the countries, and then the ambassadors, obviously their role will be to market our country out there in all the sectors, including tourism.
Madam President, the current president has made a very critical appointment. Mm-hmm. He has appointed the first ever female vice president. And she acts as head of state when the president is not around. What makes you think now you should go for the topmost job? Or maybe should I say, does that motivate you?
Yes, it does motivate me, and like I said earlier, it shouldn't matter whether you're male or you're female, because if you are selected on merit, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, young or old. If you are on merit, then I think you should go for it.
One Zambia?
One nation.
What do you make out of that?
I think it speaks of unity in the whole country at large.
Lastly, we've been having male presidents who go to State House with first ladies. Mm-hmm. And these first ladies eventually get to do certain programs that are of national nature.
Yes.
You are going to State House with the first gentleman.
Yes.
What sort of this first gentleman are we going to expect with them?
I think someone that has the same passion for the country as I have, and for young people, and just to make the world a better place.
Do we expect to see him also going in the countryside, doing the work just as the first ladies are doing?
We hope so.
Madam President, what's your last word to those people that are going to cast a vote for you?
I think look forward, because I've got much more to show you if I do go through, so just look forward to seeing more of me.
Madam President, it's been awesome talking to you.
Thank you so much.
We wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
And keep flying like an owl.
Thank you.
In the sky.
Thank you.
Okay, so Honorable Kampyongo does wish her all the best, and we do wish her all the best. But was it the best that she gave? Muiza, was that your best?
I could do better, but I think I did good.
What you did was good enough for this round?
I think so.
Okay. In case you get a chance to go through to the next round, which is the actual competition, what are you going to change?
I think, of course, I need to do lots of research, because topic of issues of governance and politics are very wide. So, of course, it's now time to read many books and research very much.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is Muiza. Now it's time for us to talk to our last presidential candidate. She is female, and we'll be talking to her just now. Presidential candidate Ali Nani. Ali Nani, welcome to the interview.
Thank you very much.
You look very nervous. I'm getting scared.
No, I'm not nervous.
You're not nervous? Speak more confidently. Say hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, wish you the best. So what should we look forward to from you in the audition?
You expect good governance and also... Yes, good governance.
We'll find out more. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so there goes Ali Nani, our final presidential candidate. Who should make 12? Let's find out.
Good afternoon, madam. How are you?
Oh, fine. I'm fine, thank you.
You are so many in the race. Are you aware?
Yes, yes, sir.
Very good. What makes you think you are the best that the people out there should vote for out of that huge list?
Firstly, I would talk about myself and my governance. I am not like everyone else who have come earlier on. I do not know the qualities they obtain, but I certainly know the qualities I obtain. I am tolerant, quick to listen, and slow to speak. And most of all, I have a vast knowledge on what this country needs in order to develop. Most of all, I want to base my governance on mutual trust.
Brilliant. To run a country, you need resources. You need investors to invest in your country so that you can generate resources and grow your economy, and for you to attend to these other need areas. And one of the key programs of governments is to mobilize resources, prepare a budget to implement their programs. What will be your priority areas in the first budget that you are going to put in place?
Okay. First of all, investors and potential donors, what they look for most of all in a country is a country that is willing to work with the foreign investors. For example, when I become president, I want to invest my time in the tourism industry. This is because it generates a large income of forex, and it also creates international cooperation. The second thing that I would love to implement is self-employment for the youth. This is because I believe that Zambians should come out of the reservoir kind of attitude where they always have to be they always want to depend on the government for employment. So instead of depending on the government for employment, they can create employment by empowering the youth and also investing in the agricultural system. Because according to economics, agriculture is one of the blooming factors that leads to financial stability in a country. Then thirdly, decrease the number of maybe foreigners that are coming in. Because if a large number of foreigners are coming in, what will be left for the people to do? What are the people of this country going to do? Because the foreigners will take over. Coming from the word investor is someone who's investing. So the investment they are getting, they want to get profit in return. The profit they make, that is going to be larger than the profit that will stay in this country. And they'll come out of this country, they would have invested, and later on they'll invest in their own countries. So Zambia should come out of the system of dependency on investors and donors.
When you talk about making your government self-sustaining and in terms of entrepreneurship, if I hear you correctly, you would entertain the investors, but you would want them not to trade. You want them to be manufacturing so that you can leave the trade to entrepreneurs that you are creating in making sure that the youth, the women, and men can be in the value chain. Is that what you are trying to bring out?
Yes, madam.
And how are you going to make sure that this is the Zambia you want? How are you going to put the policies in place so that what you're saying is able to happen?
As I stated earlier on, madam, it's not an overnight job, and it is not also an easy task. Because I think the key point here is to motivate and sensitize the message to the Zambian people. Because the Zambian people have to be willing to work and cooperate with the government. Most of the times, as I stated earlier on, they want to cry foul if there's no employment. So what we can do is invest in fast growing sectors, such as the IT sector, because the world has become an international village. That means that IT is constantly improving. And so for us to move alongside with the world, we also have to improve our IT facilities and also agriculture, because it's one of the leading factors that help create employment in Africa. And thirdly, I would lessen the burden on the mining sector, because as you know, madam, copper has a life expenditure of maybe 30 years. Now, after 30 years, what is expected to happen if there's no copper in the country? So we have to invest in other sectors apart from mining. And we should also make sure that the people know that mining is not the only thing they can do, and the government is not the only way they can employ themselves. For example, small-scale businesses. Once a small-scale business owner is able to have a conducive environment in which they can trade in, that small-scale business owner will eventually become a large-scale business owner. And then that small-scale business owner who has become a large-scale business owner will be able to employ other people, because the person will need people to work, and in order for manpower to be available. And yes, that's one of the factors that I can implement.
In your opening statement, you said that what probably makes you different from other candidates is that you possess a vast knowledge about the needs of this country, developmental needs of this country, and priorities. So the question is, in your estimation, what's the biggest challenge that this country needs that you'd like to tackle from day one as president?
I would say corruption. Corruption, because as you know, corruption is the abuse of public office. So it will create inefficiency that will disadvantage other people that need those services. Because if some corrupt officials are able to abuse government funds that are supposed to be used in maybe the education sector or the infrastructure sector or in the improving of roads, that means the development of this country will be going backwards because the money is being abused. Thirdly, corruption will also lead to unemployment. as a major source of the country going backwards. And for several years, Zambia has had a very high unemployment rate. So if we can tackle corruption, then we would have solved one problem at a time. As I stated earlier on, it's not an overnight job. It's not an overnight thing, but it's an overnight job. First of all, we will have to change the mindset of the people. They have to know that corruption is wrong. It not only disadvantages this country, but it will also leave a negative impact even on the potential investors that want to invest in this country. Because no investor and entrepreneur anywhere in the world want to invest in a country that they know that the local government cannot handle the funds of the people well. What more the large sums of money they want to pour into a country. As I stated earlier on, the investors, they expect a profit and not a loss. So as an investor, why would I want to invest in a country that I know is corrupt and my money would just go down the drain? I want to invest in a country that has potential. I want to invest in a country that's willing to cooperate with me in an environment where there's no corruption.
When are we going to see the first gentleman?
Ma?
The first.
Pardon?
On a lighter note, we've had presidents who go with first ladies. Now
Sir?
You are going to be the female first president, and you will be with the first gentleman in State House, meaning your husband.
Point of correction, sir. I think I want to improve first on my intellect and go in my courses of medicine and later on progress.
No, but what we are saying is that at one point,
Huh?
you'll be in State House and you'll be with the first gentleman. You have acquired your academics and everything. Now you're in State House with the first gentleman. Is he going to be working like the way we see first ladies going around the country doing programs? Or you'll be keeping him at State House?
I don't know.
You haven't thought about that? Madam President, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so here comes our last presidential candidate, Alindani. You spent some time in there. How is it for you? You look sweaty.
It's okay, thank you.
It was okay, thank you. You don't sound confident.
I sound confident.
Okay, so do you feel you've made it to final 12?
Yes, I believe so.
You believe so?
Yes.
All the best then.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so there goes our last presidential candidate. After this short break, we're getting closer to finding out which 12 will make it for junior president.
Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm a doctor now.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are most welcome.
I'm now a managing director for the bank.
Great.
You are my hero.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are most welcome.
I'm a journalist now.
Good career.
It's a dream come true.
Thank you. Be a people's hero, icon, treasured and appreciated by pursuing a career in teaching education at DMI St. Eugene University today.
Visit www.dmiseu.edu.zm. DMI St. Eugene University, where your dreams are nurtured.
This is the perfect time. Been dying to hear from you. I hope that this moment lasts, 'cause it feels so true. Maybe I'm out of my mind, but I know that your love is hard to find.
When we love someone, we become selfless, devoted, and we accept the one we love wholeheartedly. But the question we often ask ourselves is, how far would you go for the one you love? How far would you go to connect their heart to yours every day?
Glad that I'm here.